So there's no doubt in my mind that the 2014 Corvette, the 7th generation of the Corvette, and now they've added the Stingray designation back on, stole the show in Detroit. It's definitely the talk of the show, and for good reason. We don't get a Corvette very often, and so they have to make them good when it happens, and it looks like that's exactly what they've done with this one. The LT1 V8 returns with 450 horsepower, 450 pound-feet of torque, and maybe bigger news than that is the availability of a 7-speed manual transmission, much like the Porsche 911 offers, but this one is going to offer its own rev-matching system, kind of like Nissan debuted on a 370Z a few years back. So that should make it a very drivable and very fun performance vehicle. They've worked on a few things. Weight is down about almost 100 pounds, and seats have improved. In fact, a lot of the interior has improved, and they've got a neat cutaway model over here. Just to point out some of the features, of course, customization becomes a big part of it. You can get all sorts of color combinations. 2 seats are now available, where before the Corvette had always had subpar seats. Now there's these very, very aggressive sport buckets, and if you're not quite that track rat these seats are intended for, there's a slightly more comfortable but still much improved seat as a standard seat. If it looks like carbon fiber, it is. If it looks like aluminum, it is. At least that's what Chevy tells us. We'll have to withhold judgment until we can drive a production version later this year, but what we see is much, much better than the C6 ever offered, and that's a good start. Smaller diameter steering wheel, and finally a unique steering wheel too. We don't share that with any other vehicle, but really as the C7, you couldn't ask for a lot more. The style is unique. I'm not saying I like everything about it, especially the rear. The taillights are very cool, but I'm not a big fan of this black lower valance down here, although my eyes are usually drawn to the quad tailpipes anyway, so maybe I won't ever notice it again. But a big aero emphasis here on how the air is managed to cut down on wind resistance and also create the proper aerodynamics for high-speed driving. And like we said, the Corvette Stingray stolen the show here in Detroit based on great looks, and we'll see when they announce pricing if they're going to hold the line on that, but everything we see here tells us that the 7th generation might just be the Corvette's best generation.